yeah, I can kick us off. I know you usually do these, and so you're back in the other seat because I listened to your interview with Steve that you
But it was
did.
his proposal, so
Yeah.
it's up to the host. Like I'm the guest here, so I'm just listening to your proposals, and I'm doing what you will tell me to do. So
Yeah. Yeah. It was actually really helpful to listen to that interview because I feel like, well, I got to know you and your backstory a lot more. And then I was also thinking, I need to make sure not to ask any of the same questions. He asked some really good questions. It's like he took that one from me. um, but it's good. I think we're going to go even more in depth in a couple of, questions. And I've got some kind of random stuff to ask you too. So I think it'll be really fun. But things are just getting started in my day right now. It is morning. I know it's afternoon for you. And so I'm curious, like, what your typical morning routine is like right now.
damn it, my typical morning routine is to wake up, and then we're currently living in the apartment on the first floor. So we have an exit to a small yard, and after I'm waking up, I have to let my dogs to run through the whole apartment to this yard to make all their stuff, because I don't want to walk them right after I'm waking up, because before I was doing it. So every day I was waking up and the first thing to do is just to walk my dogs. And now I'm just waking up, opening one small door, opening another door, and they're like running.
They just take off.
They know how to do it, so I don't have to guide them. They just wait for me, and then they're in the yard. So it's one of those benefits to live on the first ground. So you have an access to the street, and you can allow your dogs to do their stuff. And yeah, then we have a breakfast. My wife cooks some breakfast. We have a breakfast, and then I'm moving to my office. So I'm just literally entering another room and I'm starting doing some stuff. So yeah, basically that's how my morning starts.
Yeah. And so you're currently where are you right now?
I'm in Warsaw right now, finally.
Yeah.
So after 7 months of war, we finally managed to move from Ukraine. And, even though my heart is still in the Ukraine, and I still, help by money and all the stuff, Ukraine, and I can always, I had some, I have some Telegram channels from my Ukrainian communities, and there were some paid services. So you may add some advertisements, or you may advertise your job and all the stuff. And previously it was like my additional income, and now I told that all this money will go to our army to help support our country. So I'm still doing all this stuff. So even though I'm out of Ukraine, I'm still supporting my communities, etc. But it feels like a little more, I don't have to worry about the safety of my family. Yeah. So that's what really helps. And it helps me to be more productive, to focus more on the work, and it helps me to help even more to our country. So it's like, just even though I'm in the safe place, at least I hope so, because Poland is also near the Ukraine and Belarus, so you never know, but it feels like much safer.
Yeah, that's a big change. Have you ever lived outside of Ukraine before?
No, never, because I was living in the Ukraine for 33 years, and even I never lived outside of Kiev. So
wow.
I never moved. So it is a lot of stuff happened this year for the first time. And even we have this conversation with you right now. It's strange to say, but because of the war, because I was never even thinking to going outside of Ukraine. And even though I know that there are some CMX community club, I was reading, I was like this lurker, as people like to call. And I never thought that I will be active, and I never thought that I have something to share with other people, because it felt to me like they're so amazing, they have so much knowledge, they're just awesome, I want to learn from them. And then I understood that I have something to share myself too. So it doesn't mean that I stop learning. I keep learning. So I can even learn from people who are less experienced, because they don't have all these boundaries and all this stuff in their head, and sometimes they have like very great ideas, and it's like amazing. Like I can even learn from my kid. So
of course, if not, like they're like maybe the best teacher.
Yeah, because like they will tell you like the real truth, because like adults won't tell you it, but kids will for sure. So
what is your son's latest hot take or like truth that he's given you?
It's a hard question. Sometimes he tells me when I sound like maybe a little rude or something like that, even unintentionally. So I may be in a hurry, I may like be in a worry or something like that, and I may act a little like how to say, my English sucks, still sucks.
Your English is amazing. I'm struggling. I think I know what you're saying, and I'm struggling to find the word on your behalf.
Yes,
like rushed, or like brash,
rushed and distracted, and like when I need to check everything and make sure that everything done in some small amount of time, and sometimes I may like, do it, go there, take it, come here. So I do not give any explanations like do it because I need you to help me and something like that. I'm just like, do it right away, right now. And like he tells me like, really? Why are you saying me that? So sometimes it holds down a little, and also it was so many takeaways that I already built in my behavior, so it's even hard to remember, but like I do it all the time, and I feel like sometimes I think like, am I his father? Because or he is my father, because sometimes he's much wiser than me. And
that's amazing.
not because I don't know it, but when we know something, it doesn't mean that we will follow this rule. If we know the rule, it doesn't mean that we will follow the rule.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like he's telling me, and like, yeah, why I'm not doing that? God damn
it. I love it. And how old is he?
10 years.
He's 10. Old. Okay. Yeah, starting to become a little man.
A little monster, I would say. So
hopefully he doesn't listen to this.
It was easy. It was easier when he was younger, but now it's a little monster. So
so switching gears here a little bit, I know that you have a background from university in your studies in math and technology, so probability, statistics, discrete mathematics. Like, what drew you to that initially? Why did you go that pathway?
My parents.
Okay.
My mother, because like I was from my I don't know the grade system in the US. So basically we have kindergarten in Ukraine, then we have from first grade till 11th. I guess maybe now it's till 12th, and then we have university. So it's not really like, we do not call like middle school, medium school, like high school. We just have kindergarten, we have school, and we have university. So basically I supposed to start my school from the first grade, but I went to the second grade because they didn't allow me to join the first grade, because it was the Lyceum of international languages, and even it was Asian languages. So it was Japanese, Chinese, and Arabic. And I was learning Japanese till 5th grade. And it was kind of exam to join the school, and they showed me. I just remember this moment when we came to this commission, and they showed me some cards, like some words in Ukrainian and in Arabic, and I had to remember how it translates. So they showed me like, this is like snake. It's translated like that. And then they just asked me, how will be snake in Arabic? And I was like, I don't know. Yes. So it was a little crazy, but we had my grandparents had teacher in the second grade of this school were their friend, and they just somehow, and I don't know the whole story behind, but long story short, I finished in the second grade, not in the first grade. And also what it meant that I was always 1 year younger than anyone in the class. It sucks. It really sucks, you know.
Really?
It doesn't matter in like after, I don't know, after 25, but in school and university, it sucks a lot because you're always the youngest, you always suck, and it's not that great feeling. So what, and I was learning, like I was very good, really very good in English. I liked English a lot and I love English. So I don't know, my mouth works that way that even though I'm not native, I can sound a little like native because I can, you know, make those sounds people do. So, and I was learning. So my main focus were Japanese and English, let's say. And then we have an amazing Japanese teacher, but she went out of school somewhere in 5th grade, and they started to bring students to us. Students didn't teach us anything. And my mom was like, okay, it makes no sense to continue. And why don't you go to a MS lyceum? So why don't you go to a MS school? So I transitioned to another school. It was like middle school, like in 7th grade, it was one class. I transitioned from this language school to normal school. And then from normal school, I went to mathematician school. And when I was applying to university, it was really very easy because my mom works in the university. And I was like, what is the best faculty to join? And she was like, this one. I'm going to this one. Because like, I've never even thought like who I want to be and all the stuff. Like I never planned my career, and like, you know, I was like, what is the best faculty? Okay, I'm going here. So even though I believe it wasn't the best choice, like we still talk a lot with my wife about it because we met each other in the university, so we were in the same group. And we talk a lot our education, and the best thing it gave us that it taught us to learn. So now, like we can learn anything because we know how to learn ourselves. So basically, it's the best knowledge we received. So nothing very practical, but this ability to learn. So yeah, basically, that's how I got there.
So, yeah, I mean, at what point I have a lot of questions around this, but at what point in your life do you think you started to think about, well, what do I want and who am I?
It's super hard because like after finishing the university, even like when I was in the final course, I went to a job and I was a risk analyst in the bank. I was surprising banks and insurance companies counterparties to our bank, and it was rather interesting. So I was okay in that, but I like, you know, I'm not very deep. I don't have very deep mathematical mind, so it's kind of logical enough to be like to think logically, and I understand that I love languages and all this stuff more than math, because higher math, I hate it. So I like simple math. If I can apply it to real world, I don't like to fantasize like this, like, let's imagine the space of numbers. Like, God damn it, whoever need it? Like, if we have like 100 people, it's 100 people. We have million people, it's million. We don't have an infinity number of people. So why anyone is ever care about something like that, you know? So, it's hard for me. But after that, I went to run an online shop. We were selling some goods for kids and all this stuff. And after that, that's exactly how my community path started. So I went to SEO, we created an SEO meetups, and I transitioned more to creating these events and connecting people, but I didn't know how to call myself because am I events organizer? Am I SEO expert? Am I salesperson? I never knew. And then I met the CMX community. At first it was Rosie Land. Somehow I Googled, it was Rosie Sherry's emails. And I was like, wow, it's amazing. There are people, they are called community managers. No way. It feels like something I'm doing. And it was exactly what it is. And when I joined the communities of community experts, I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. Like, that's how I can call myself, even though nobody calls those people community managers in Ukraine. I believe now it's easier. Now, after I started posting some stuff on LinkedIn, etc., some Ukrainian companies started to reach out to me like, oh, we need a community manager, we need a community builder. And I was like, okay, I'm so busy. I can be a consultant for you, but not a community manager right now. So it's really very fun. But now, and only I would say this February, after I started this international conversation and met so many amazing people, and you for sure, and it was like, I know what I want to do for life. So only the war, it may sound weird and even strange, but the war helped me to understand who am I and what I want. So basically, I'm a community builder, I'm a community expert. I love talking to people, I love connecting people. So that's exactly what I'm good at and what I would love to continue doing. So
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say about a lot of traumatic incidents is like when people go through trauma, it ends up becoming, and sometimes negatively, the defining moment of their life, and they live in it forever. But there's resilient trauma as well. I feel like you're describing your own trauma resiliency through this process.
I thought about it. So maybe it's kind of respond to all this negative stuff that is going on, but I was thinking myself, when I'm walking in the park by myself and I think what is going on in my life, and am I okay and all this stuff. I understand that there is a saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So it feels like the same. So I went through some life experience, and I know that there is nothing more valuable than your life and time of your life. So you have to choose how to use it. So if you don't like something, stop doing it. If you don't want something, stop doing it. So you don't have to do it. If you have some friend who is abusing you, go talk to this friend. If they continue abusing you, go away from this friend. So you don't have to waste your time. And basically, that's what made hard my community journey, because now when I'm reaching out to community members and they tell me that they're busy and all the stuff, they cannot be active in the community, I was like, okay, so should I have bored you?
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to waste your time.
That's one of the things you brought up in the Engager on the community course. And I'm always like, wow, that's such a interesting way of thinking about community building. It's like, if you don't want to be part of it, that's fine. I'm going to actually take you out of here though, because you're I don't want, you
can always come back. So we are open, we are here. Just let me know. I will be happy to meet you there. But if you don't want, see you later.
Yeah. I kind of wish more communities were more direct like that, because we can be part of hundreds of things, but really, I mean, we can really only dedicate our energy to like maybe 5 communities like in our lives. That's not scientific at all, but yeah.
What is helping me being a Ukrainian is that in Ukraine we are very straightforward. So if we don't like something, we will say about it, and we do not care a lot about how other people will feel about it. It's not good, it's not very amazing, but sometimes if you are not giving people feedback, they won't grow.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can just, like, I always tell this, that if I want somebody to grow, I'll be as straightforward as I can, even if it can hurt. But I will do everything not to make people hurt. I will explain why am I saying that, like what am I feeling about this person and how they can become better. Like, what do they feel about it? I always ask them about. But like, I don't want to waste time, like, if you suck, you suck. So let's face it and make it better. So why should I say that you are good or you are great or all this stuff and you'll be suck even worse? So let's understand it, let's focus it, fix it, and make better. So that's what, and that's why being Ukrainian allows me to say that to international people. And I always say, like, being Ukrainian, I'm very straightforward. You might hate me, but I will tell you anyway. So let's do it.
But it sounds like you're saying it when you care about someone or when you like care about their progress and their time, and you respect that.
I will never, just troll other people, like saying, oh, you suck and all this stuff. So I will tell it only if I care. If I don't care, I won't make any comments. Like, who cares? Yeah.
So I'm going to take all of your feedback to me as like completely positive. No, it's been super helpful, and I completely understand where you're coming from. And I can see how, especially, going from your work mainly with Ukrainian community and then into international, that conversation, you do have to say, this is part of my culture. I could see someone in the United States, in New York, responding very well to the way that you communicate, but someone maybe in where my family is from, in the South, in Tennessee or Georgia, thinking like, why is this, am I bad? Or like, this person is so rude.
Yes,
so acknowledging our cultural differences is really important, I think, is what I'm hearing from you, like when building international communities or different cultural communities.
Totally, because sometimes you can't say it to some people, even if you want to make them better, because their level of culture then won't allow them to understand it. Even if they won't understand. So totally.
Yeah. Like, I know this is community life. I'm like learning community lessons from you though, as we're going through this. All right, let me switch gears again. So one of the things that I learned in the podcast that you did with Steve is that your father was a European skiing champion. And you said, like, maybe I could have been a skiing champion. Is that if you could have any other job in the world or do anything else with your life, would you be a ski champion, or would you be something else, or would you do exactly what you're doing?
No, I'm doing exactly what I'm doing. So, I do not like regretting things. So that's why I'm always talking about making mistakes. So I love making them. So it might not feel good at the moment when I understand that I made a mistake, but it's never something I will regret a lot. So unless it hurts other people, I will just learn it as a lesson. So, okay, I made a mistake. It costed me money, or it cost my time, but okay, I won't do it again. So who cares? Because I know that some people, oh my God, I made a mistake. Oh, what would I do? Oh, I can't. And like, why to waste your time? Once again, it's all about time. I love this movie with Justin Timberlake, In Time, when they had this value and they had timers on their hands and they were exchanging and they were exchanging like money. You receive payment in time of your life, and when your timer stopped, you just die. And it seems like so exactly how we have, but we just don't have this. We don't see the time left, so we just guess. We think that we will live forever, but we never know. So yeah, once again, it's war experience, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So you did not used to think that way, you don't think?
No, not really. I've never thought about, like, I was always obsessed, like, oh, I need more money, I need a better car, I need a better apartment, I need some clothes, I need a better phone and all the stuff. And now, like, I have a good phone, I have good computer, I have camera, I have good apartment, I have everything I need. I don't need Lamborghini, you know? So like, okay, I will do what I can do. I will definitely like getting better in what I'm doing. I will definitely get more money, and I will improve like my car and all this stuff, but it's not the goal. It's like something that I will do when I have this opportunity, for sure. But maybe it's a comfort zone also, you know, so I'm not struggling. I have something to eat, I have where to live, so my family is good, so why should I care? But also I'm focusing on bringing value to people and working in this community world and sharing as much as I can, because but you know, it's not like I want to teach other people. I want to learn from them, because only when you are sharing, somebody can tell you, oh, you are doing this way, but if you will do this way, you can do it even better. So that's how I learn, you know?
Yeah. That I feel like that's one of the things that one of my idols, Dolly Parton, talks about a lot. There's a bunch of interviews of her, and she says, you know, the only way I'm not afraid of anything, because she said she grew up really poor in East Tennessee and she had nothing growing up, and there's nothing I can lose at this point. So anything I create, anything I put out there is just, I'm learning all the time. So I obviously love Dolly Parton, so I admire your
I totally
your take on this.
And when you were saying about I'm not afraid, I always have this, I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody come take my hand. So Eminem was one of my idols. So
yeah, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about. Actually,
still is. So
yeah. I was going to ask you like who some of your role models were or idols growing up. Who did you look up to?
Yeah, like mostly the singers, but you know, I'm not following their lives. So I'm not a fan. Like, I'm screaming when I've never seen them. So they're mostly in the US. So it's Eminem and Linkin Park. But I'm relating a lot to their songs. To, like, you know, there are a few kinds of people. Some people love music in songs. Some people love lyrics. And I'm the kind of people who need both. Like, I need to have a good music and good lyrics, because if it's a good music but something like stupid, I won't like it. If it's something like very great but it sounds very bad, no. But if it's all together, so I was kind of learning their experience by listening to their music and relating a lot to, you know, like music. I don't know how to explain, but music can help you, like, whatever you feel. If you feel good, you listen to fun music. If you feel bad, you listen to bad music. And I told it somewhere that when Chester Bennington of Linkin Park killed himself, like, my friend told me, like, his lyrics saved so many lives, but he didn't save himself. So that's exactly, and those words were like, that's exactly what it is. So when you're listening to Linkin Park or Eminem, you can relate to their songs and you understand that you are not alone. And if somebody else have these feelings, and if those amazing people, like those stars, have the same feelings, it feels like life is good. So it means that we will go through all this stuff and everything will be okay. So it's just a black line, like the white line is following. So
yeah, that's beautiful. I love music too, so like I get it. Have you yourself ever wanted to be famous?
Now I don't think about that, but most maybe I don't remember of me like thinking I want to be an actor or a singer, but most likely I was thinking about that. I just don't know for sure. And what is a fame for me is that you can reach out to more people and you can touch more people. So for example, like if we will take, I don't know, even you, like you are a celebrity for me, so you are famous for me.
That's relative.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was like, the first book I've read was yours book, and I was like, wow, it's amazing. So, and if celebrities, if famous people are bringing some value, it's super cool. If they're changing people's lives, it's amazing. But sometimes there are stupid celebrities, they're doing some stupid stuff. So some crazy things people love to watch but never do themselves. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, and I know that, weird stuff also invites a lot of people to join you and to follow you. But if I would ever like to be famous, so only in that way that I can reach out to more people and I can help more people. So only in this way.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that you will ever write a book? Or
yeah, for sure. Totally.
Really? On what?
Yeah. I was thinking, there are a lot of great books on community building. So I was thinking about humans behind the communities. That's exactly what we are doing in a community life. Yes. So we are talking about people, not their titles, not their expertise, but what led them to be these amazing people and what made them to become these experts. So maybe I don't know for sure, maybe about some lessons that I learned from other people. And I can imagine that it won't be one author, it will be all people who were in community life. They all be authors. So we'll have a really big list of authors. But I believe that it will help very much other people to understand who is a community builder, who is this person.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot of instructions on how to do it, but you have to have some internal motivation to do it, because not everyone can be a community builder for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I can imagine like a community life coffee table book where like it's like a big illustrated book that I would keep it on my coffee table.
Yes. And, with alphabetical, like you can always go to see Carrie Melissa Jones.
Yeah. And everybody else. I mean, I think that's really like, even talking to you right now, it's like you realize that your community work is a mirror of and gets better through your personal life and matures through your own life experiences. And so much of what we see, just if you look at a CMX talk and you think, oh, this person is doing incredible work, I could never do that. Or I'm feeling this sense of comparison, or even I have so far to go and I feel overwhelmed. But you have to realize that person has a whole story behind how they got there. And it wasn't easy. Like it's not linear.
I always say there is no overnight success, but people always skip this part before. So there are a few people like, when somebody become famous, so there are somebody else and this famous person. So people always forget about somebody else, like how they become. So I'm really curious in how things build, if I can see a telephone I'm interested what inside. Like I even went into the phone, so I unscrewed it and I wear there, so I know how camera connected, I know how all these things work. So I'm really curious about how things works. So that's exactly what it is. So like we are, okay, let's face it, we are machines. So
Are we?
we have our own engines and we are built somehow. So I want to know how our brain works in this community field, because I know that people can learn how to become a community builder, but they need to understand, like, unless that's why we always say about the sense of belonging and all this stuff, because it's a sense.
Yes.
So you can have a lot of KPIs, ROIs, and all other scary words, but it's all about feeling. So if you feel people, you feel people. So you need to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
If you can, for sure.
I struggle with that myself. I'm like, how do you teach this?
I don't know.
We're trying. We're doing our best.
One day, maybe we'll find out. You never know. Maybe we will build, some community builder robot.
I'm sure someone's working on it somewhere.
Totally.
This robot has feelings. I'm curious. So it was kind of a random question, but I saw on your Instagram that you had a lot of plants and flowers in some of your photos. You had plants and flowers, and I'm curious if you like flowers and like gardening and things like that. Is that one of your interests?
When I was growing up, I was living with my grandfather and grandmother, and it was like a house with its own yard. And we have some apple trees, and we had some tomatoes and cucumbers and all the stuff growing there, and a lot of flowers, but I was never in charge of that. It was all of my grandmother's stuff and a little about my grandfather. So my grandfather was fixing everything in the house. So if something broken, he's there to fix it, and he did it amazingly. So that's what I took from him. So I also like to fix things. If I can't do it, then I will call him an expert. But if I can do it, why bother? And I'm not really into gardening because I've never tried to do it myself. So I had some plants and they were just growing, and I have to pour in some water into them sometimes. Not as much as I needed, but sometimes. So I have some experience of how it works. And when the war started, we went to the west part of Ukraine. So for 6 or 7 months, we were out of home, and basically all of our plants died, and only one remained alive. It was really very strange. I don't know how. It's called Zamioculcas. I don't know if it's the same. I guess it's some in Latin, but so this it's kind of, it's not a cactus, but so it can live a long life without a water.
Like a
so
succulent.
For me, it's the best plant. So because sometimes I remember to add some water, sometimes not. So if it can live by itself, it's amazing. So it's the best plant for me. Because otherwise I will feel bad. It's my fault. So no.
Yeah, it's another thing to take care of. Another random question. Do you have any tattoos? You do.
One, very small, and I had 2 moles, and I have scar. And if I were looking on my 2 moles and this scar, it was like unhappy face. And I was like, I need to fix it. So it was the smallest tattoo ever.
Yeah.
And it was
smiley face.
Yes, now it's a smiley face. It's not a sad face, but now it's a smiley face. And the master, so it took me like 2 minutes to make this tattoo.
Yeah.
And the tattoo master told me that it was their fastest work ever.
You're setting a record.
Yes, it was the fastest work. And she really made like 1, 2. So 2 moves and it's done. And I was like, perfect. So,
Yeah.
perfect. And when I was growing up, I don't know for sure, but I can imagine myself talking that I will never have a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, why not? Why not? So it's not like I covered myself in tattoos and all the stuff, but I have one. And I can always look at it and its face looking to me. So if I look at my arm, so it's not for people to make them happy. It's like to me, like, hey, everything's good. So keep up, keep doing stuff. So yeah, I look a lot on this tattoo.
Yeah.
So,
When did you get it?
It was when we returned to Kiev. It was like 2 or 3 months ago. So.
Mm-hmm. So after the war started and all that. Yeah.
A lot of stuff happening after that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't going to ask you about that, but I am curious. It was February 24th, right? Was the date.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe that day in your personal life? What did you see around you?
It was so like, first we woke up near 5 a.m. Hearing all those rockets and all those explosions and these airplanes, military airplanes flying, and we don't know if it's ours or not. And first when we heard explosions, my wife, it was like far from our home, but my wife like, are those explosions? I was like, no, it's some garbage machine or something like that. And then like we were listening, and then we understood that it is. And we started to collect our clothes to take with ourselves. And we thought that it's unsafe in Kiev, but it will be really very safe in our country house near Irpin. So
it's nice.
And Irpin and Bucha are one of the cities of Ukraine that was like, there were so many people killed there.
Oh wow.
And we were like, it will be definitely safer than in Kiev. And
it's farther east?
It's closer to Belarus. So it's like up. And we went there on 24th. There were a lot of traffic jams, so a lot of people were leaving the city. And it took usually it took like near 1 hour to get there, but it took like 6 or 7 hours to get there. And then we were like we thought that it's safe, but we were listening to what is happening. So we were hearing a lot of helicopters, some explosions and all that stuff. And like we didn't know what to do really. And in the night from 24th, like it was the morning on 24th, and the next night from 24th to 25th, like I was sleeping, like not very well, but I was sleeping, and my wife was reading news, and she was like collecting all the information, and she told us we need to go. So we need to go out of here. And in the morning, like 7 or 8 a.m. of 25th of February, we got into car and we just headed to the west part of Ukraine. And when we were leaving our country house, like we had an airport near us, and some Russian and Belarusian, all this stuff, they started to attack, and it was explosions and helicopters like very really near us. So it felt like we were out like the last moment.
Yeah.
So, like in those Hollywood movies, when a hero runs and everything exploded behind, not literally, but it felt like that. So we didn't see, but we heard helicopters, explosions, and all this stuff. And like then we moved to the west part, find an apartment, and we're living there. And we read those news because on 26 they started killing people. So I don't know. It was just some luck, maybe. So
it sounds like your wife was paying really close attention. And
yes. And I always say to her, so you're like, you analyze and I will do it.
Yeah.
Let's cooperate. You will think about it, I will do it. So it's much easier, because when somebody thinks, somebody doing so.
Oh yeah, you can't do everything. You can't do it alone, that's for sure.
And that's exactly how it works. It helps a lot because like I like more doing than thinking, and she likes more thinking than doing. So we are really good partners.
Is she still a mathematician?
No, she is working as a lawyer.
Oh wow, yeah.
And she is now learning some pre-LLM in some Chicago college. Like it's online for sure, but some of those programs, and maybe she will even have LLM for lawyers and all this stuff. So she more into that space, like law and etc.
Yeah. What are you grateful for most in your life right now?
I was like, I had not good internet connection in the room I work from, and I went to buy a router to the shop, additional router and cable to expand the Wi-Fi coverage. And like when I went there, I went through park, and when I was coming back, I decided to take a longer road through the park. And I was looking on trees and leaves and sky and airplanes. Like we live not that far from airport, so from the park we can see airplanes taking off. And I was like, God, thank you very much for being safe, and that I can have some income, that I can support my family, that that I have food, I have clothes, I have all the stuff, I can live my life, I can like be with my family. And so just this opportunity to being alive and not being in need. So I can't say that like I'm not rich, so I'm not that kind of person like who can like use money anyway, but I feel like I have enough, and I guess it's the biggest gift to do what you like, to connect to amazing people, to talk to amazing people, and to let yourself do what you want, basically. So yeah. So basically I'm grateful for everything what is going on in my life. And even if some bad stuff happens, I think about what I can learn from it and how can I avoid it in the future. For sure, I can say this right now, sitting in this warm room, talking to you in the Community Life podcast, but not all on the moments of this hurry and this, like, it's just like reverse engineering.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's important, right, that we reflect and sit back and think about the bigger picture, because it's so easy to get lost in all the little things.
Also, sometimes I like to think like we have this conversation with you right now, but how did we get there? So we talked to you on enjoying an online community course. Before that, we had a conversation via email. Before that, like I reached out to you on Twitter. Before that, I read your book. Before that, I found your book somewhere on internet. So I'm trying to rebuild this chain of how did we get where we are. And sometimes it's really very fun. And what I found that it's all about people. It's all about people and connections. So if you have good connections, you can do everything you want. So there are no limits. So it's all about good connections.
Yeah. That is one thing that I've noticed, I'm sure other people notice as well, that you are really brave about who you reach out to and how you do outreach to all kinds of people. And I know, again, from listening to the previous podcast you did with Steve, that that's not something you always have done. How do you build up the courage around that? Or like what's gotten you to the point where that's comfortable for you? If it is comfortable, maybe it's not. I don't know. Tell me about it.
Sometimes I feel like I have to reach out to somebody and like, I don't want it, but okay, I have to. Let's do it. So basically, at the end of the day, it's all about whether I need it or not. And also, it's not only about me, but whether people need it or not. So whether they need me to reach out to them, or like what's the value for them in this reach out, and like what we all afraid is to receive no.
Yeah.
So, but like it's the worst thing that can ever happen, that we will receive no, or maybe I don't know what's worse, to receive no or no answer at all. But it's the worst thing that can happen. And like, okay, if person doesn't answer to me, so maybe we don't have to talk. So who cares? I will reach out to somebody else who will answer. And maybe if this person will tell me, why are you reaching out to me? You're bothering me. Who the hell are you?
Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Yeah, me either.
Exactly, it never happens. But that's what we're afraid of. Sometimes it never happens, but we're afraid of it. And when it's all about practice. So the hardest is to reach out to the first person, to the second person, to the 50th person. But then it's like a usual routine. So, hey Carrie, how are you? And all this stuff. You can, and what I also trying to do in my messages is to, some people write, hello, how are you?
Yeah.
And that's all. And you're like, why do they care?
They don't.
And when I'm reaching out, I'm always written hey, how are you? I know that it's okay. It's like, hello, hey, how are you? And then I'm writing you because la la la, I have this, I want this, this is my intentions. I tried to do this. So what do you think about that? So I'm trying to give people all the picture. For sure, they may have a little more questions, and I tell them if you have any questions, please ask me. I will explain you more. So when I explain what I want from people, it increases the chances that they will answer yes. Yeah. Because when you start your dialogue with, hey, how are you? So most likely people won't answer. If they are very polite, they will answer, but most likely not. So so it's all about practice. It's all about keep doing it and knowing that the worst thing can happen, that you receive no or no answer at all. But if you think about benefits, it's an unlimited world in front of you. So you will never know unless you ask. Yeah,
absolutely. I know you're a big reader. What are you reading right now?
I had pause when we were moving from Ukraine to Poland and all the stuff of figuring out where to live, etc. I made a pause and I didn't read for 1 month. It was like unbelievably long time, but I'm always trying to read at least 10 minutes a day. So it
Mhm.
helps me to read books faster and to read them at all. So what I'm reading now is The Happiness Advantage
Mm.
by, I don't know, but by who it's just The Happiness Advantage. The Happiness Advantage, the 7 principles of positive psychology that fuel success and performance at work. Sean Etcher, Ahor, I don't know how to spell correct his last name. So yeah, it's The Happiness Advantage, but it was a book from the Cultivators Community Books Club.
Mm-hmm.
So I started reading it and I have like 82% right now, so a little more less to finish. And also I'm reading parallel. I never read one book at a time.
Yeah.
I usually read 2 or 3 books in parallel. And the next book, it's Vicky Cumberbatch told me about that. Rest. Why you get more done when you work less.
Oh,
by
awesome.
Alex Soo-Joon Kim Pan. And it's also amazing, because we need to rest, but nobody tells us about that. So,
yeah. Yeah. Is there a book that's been the most influential for you in your life?
Little Prince.
Oh yeah, I remember we've had this conversation before. Yeah.
Most likely Little Prince, because I always reread this book and always find something new. And it's so many. I read it in Ukrainian before, so it's hard for me to say all the quotes in English. But I liked his Little Prince is also brave. So he moved from planet to planet. He met different people. Exactly, we have those people in our lives, like who obsessed with countings, who obsessed with money, who obsessed with power, etc. And he just talking to them and asking them why are you doing that, and all the stuff. So, when you're little, you read it like a fairy tale. It's fun. He like traveling stars and all this stuff. And then you understand that it's like a real conversation with people who, how to explain, who are not playing games, but who are living their lives like playing games. So they took everything so serious that they don't even understand how fun it looks from the side. So, and they're doing some stuff they don't have to do, but they just keep doing them because they get used to.
Yeah.
And they never think about whether they should change something. They just, that's why I'm talking that we are machines, we are doing the same all over again.
Pattern. We love patterns.
Yes, it's so easy to follow patterns and to follow habits, and it's so hard to change habits. So that's why those authors who read books about habits are so famous,
Atomic Habits. What is his name?
After you asked, I forgot. So,
not James Clear, is it?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay.
James Clear.
Yeah. Yeah, so good. I need to reread that book. I've been thinking that the last time you mentioned this, I was like,
after I will finish Happiness Advantage, I will also reread it. So
you will. We could do a little mini book club.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about it. I would love that. Well, I'm conscious of time because it is, it's almost been an hour. But I could keep talking to you all afternoon. I would love to just be actually having this conversation in person over coffee or tea or whatever. That would be awesome. But is there anything I did not ask you that you wish I had asked you? That's my last question.
what was my favorite soccer football team?
Yeah, what is it?
It was the Italian Juventus. Because I was a big fan of football and I like playing it, and I was learning how to play football playing FIFA on my computer. So
Uh-huh.
I was not really going to some sections. I was just playing games,
Uh-huh.
and it really helped me to learn how to play football. And in our school, we had like two teams. One teams of boys were like fans of Milan, and another team was fans of Juventus, and we always kind of fight. And we had this newspaper about football results and all the stuff like a long time ago. And the next, like, they were playing games in Italian Championship like on Saturday and Sunday or something like that. And the next Monday we bought these newspapers and we came to school and like, ha ha ha, your team lost, ha ha. We were mocking each other, and it was so really very fun. And I had even this T-shirt. It was Juventus captain Alessandro Del Piero, and I have this 10 number. Like now I have 5 number, but it was 10 number. And it was really very fun. We played a lot these games, and yeah, Juventus. And
Yeah.
I'm not that into soccer right now, so I'm not following anymore because like I don't know why, but I'm just not following it. It's just too much time to spend watching football, It's like half an hour and then maybe additional time, and they're playing matches so late. Why
Yeah.
don't they play at lunch? If they were playing at lunch, I would definitely watch them. But unfortunately, no. So yeah, because I think I'm getting old,
Yeah, why don't they play at lunch? I love that. Yeah, and we come back, I think, full circle into, what I've heard from you today is just like you value and are so grateful for time. And it's like something that you really are conscious of and don't want to waste in your life. And I feel that from interacting with you. I feel like you really are intentional about your life and what you do. And maybe it doesn't feel like that every day, but I think, that's the kind of energy you're putting out in the world. So thank you for that. It's had a big impact on me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Carrie. And I always tell you this, and I will tell you once again that you made a very big impact on me. So thank you very much for being so amazing author, person, I would say even friend. So
Yeah,
thank you
one day
for
in person.
definitely we have a whole life in front of us. So I believe that I'm not promising this year, but next year for sure. So let's just get ready for that.
Okay. I will. I'll hold you to that. All right. Well, thank you, Yurii. And I'm not sure when this is going to go out, but I'm really excited to listen back on it again and learn even more next time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me today, for having me on this show.
My pleasure.
And as always, see you in the community world.